Hello, and welcome to another Wargame Red Dragon replay with me, Rangru. And today we have a 1v1 on High Rate of Shield from the Wargame Bootcamp Discord September monthly tournament, which is Operation Northridge, which essentially means it's a disposable specs tournament. Yeah, you can only play one specialization per red 4 or blue 4 faction every match. So we're going to be seeing a whole lot of specialized decks, and in this game is no exception. So, on the left hand side in the blue, we have Orcale playing as a no-red armored deck, and on the right hand side in red, we have Zipper playing as a USSR armored deck. So some heavy metal firepower going on here, M1A2 Abrams and T80s galore. Hopefully that will be the case. In Orcale going pretty heavy down south here into Echoed, getting probably some rangers down there just to try and get some reconnaissance, and also opening up with the Kira reconnaissance heli. I do like how Zipper spending his first tick, or first bit of income I should say, just setting up some beacons up north for some cheap SU-122s to keep any potential, well, not so much keep anything at bay, but to spot if any cheeky helicopter cheese will happen. But most likely not, as if you notice in Oracle's deck, he has no actual helicopters in the helicopters tab. Definitely going all heavy in the armor and tank, and even the reconnaissance department. Both sides, pretty much the southern air armored forces go through the center of the highway. Not that much in terms of heavy armor right now. Maybe a just rain. There we go. Getting Bravo and Foxtrot under control to actually bring in the heavy duty firepower. We already got an M1 Abrams going along the southern flank, and we've got two T80Bs here from Zipper being rusting up north. But so far, Orcale will be able to pretty much get hold of Delta, because yeah, Zipper's not really pushing all that much into it. Seems much more focused actually just trying to make some maneuvers up north here with a little infantry strike force. I'm curious to see how that actually does play out. The Orcale doesn't have a whole lot up here in defense, mainly just reconnaissance to spot anything that may come about. And also, actually you've got the M2 Bradley trying to get some ATGM snipes. Curious to see if this M1A1 blob does decide to engage this T80B blob. You do get the opportunity to do so. Oh, we got another T80B blob. Yeah, long range you do have ATGMs, but it's not really a matchup compared to the M1A1. Especially when you do get detracked, that's not exactly ideal. But Orcale is definitely getting a very good control over here into Delta. Trying to rush some riflemen into the opposing forest. Gonna get shot at a little bit by a T-55, but the M1 Abrams is trying to save his arse. If he can actually secure a hit, I mean it is only the 105mm Abrams, which isn't that great. I do think Zipper will have at least enough time to actually get into his side of Delta, just long to hold the Triangle Forest, we're not in a terrible position. And up north here, still making that infantry push. Slow but steady. I don't really have much of a feeling that he's going to be able to actually exploit anything up north with his slow infantry push. He'll probably just get spotted and destroyed. Seeing some smoke being dropped to protect the Abrams from against some rather nasty Concourse M fire. Those riflemen just get completely lit up by that gun line. And the A1 Abrams exposing themselves. Unfortunately, Orcale does have that smoke cloud behind him to back him up. We've seen the riflemen and mortar strikes go at it. Pretty uninteresting firefight between two pretty uninteresting infantry units. At least the Moto 90s do have a very scary RPG. Yeah, pretty reserved play from both sides, really. No crazy pushes all over. I definitely think Orcale does have the advantage, just due to his positioning on Delta and Echo here. And Zippers does have a pretty nasty task force here in the center. This is about whether he can actually do anything with it. I mean, those two A1 Abrams are going to be a pain in the ass to deal with. Just trying to get any clean ATGM shots is always going to be difficult. Especially if your opponent is using smoke rather effectively. It's definitely something you need to do against a USSR player. Because they're going to have a lot of ATGMs. It just kind of like slapping ATGMs onto everything, really. Yeah, just some light artillery skirmishing. In a much more defensive force up here in Charlie now, getting an M1 Abrams to throw into the fray. Zipper, if he does want to push, is going to need some armor of his own, such as a T-80B. Probably a little bit more of everything, really, if you want to actually make his push happen in Charlie. We're all seeing, a new Cork being brought in. Hitting the T-80Bs, but not really doing that much damage. A pretty underwhelming strike. Even bringing in an electric voodoo, because I forgot this is an ORA attack. There's like a few Canadians thrown in as well for good measure. And Model Strangely's making a decent push here. You know, there's A1 Abrams, right? Yeah, they are. Just trying to get into a good position for him. As I said, the small Model Strangely pushes really through Delta here. The Abrams roll will be enough to keep him at bay. Of course, dropping in that smoke, just in case, always a very good play. Yeah, this is like a very light skirmishy match, all things considering. Just seeing missiles and mortars being fired all over. Actually, I believe back here we do have, yeah, just two Gozdivkas, which is really artillery you don't see all that often. Not exactly most heaviest of calibers, but hey, it still works. I think he's trying to snipe at Stinger. Actually, maybe I'll just do counter battering on the mortar. Zipper's actually getting that plus run right now just because of his CV on to go. I mean, Oracle's, yep, gonna be getting a CV over into Charlie here. And really, if everything gets CV capped, I mean, Oracle would have the advantage because he can completely capture Echo. And then Delta will just be neutralized between both sides. Yeah, Oracle just really needs to play the CV game and he'll be in a good position. Just try to ward off any offensive maneuvers up here. But even then, that's not too hard. I mean, the nice thing about Charlie is you have this pretty good open space where you can just, well, kill anyone which stares cross if you actually get, you know, just a decent amount of firepower in here with some ATGMs and tanks. I guess more tanks, because this is NORAD. They don't exactly have a whole lot of long-range dedicated AT. They just have some Canadian Ericses, which actually perform more well because of how close quarters that northern area is. A pretty decent strike, actually done a lot of HP damage on those C-80Bs, and there we go, he does kill one. He does lose one of his own. Oh no, the other one's repairing. He does kill a second. Not good engagement here for Zipper at all. Oh, I didn't notice a Steel Division. He's getting some T-30-45s. I mean, you have so many tank slots in USS Armoured deck, yeah. I mean, it's even not that stupid of an idea to get T-30-45s. It still kind of is. But yeah, there we go. If he wants to contest with his A1 Abrams, he's going to need, you know, that T-80 Ram or T-72 BU to effectively beat them out. Oh, you can get a T-80 UK. Yeah, that would work too. Good double rammy onto Delta here. And it does seem like Zipper's always trying to make a maneuver flank through Delta here, but no, it's just AI pathfinding going around. I don't think that T-55 is going to have a good chance against the Abrams or those T-34s. Wait, and is he... Did he seriously bring an 8-ton Thunderbolt to kill some T-30-45s? A little bit overkill. I think the missiles are probably more expensive in the tank. I got a Chinook just firing away at some mortar Strackleys. Definitely be a smart play for Zipper to actually try to make some maneuvers into Echo here, because you don't want to completely give up his area. Yeah, Orcale is getting that nice +1. Oh, for the time being, once that T-80 UK actually gets into position, yeah, we'll neutralize it. But once again, Orcale just needs to put a CV onto Delta. Which he can quite easily do. Another Nuke Hawk strike, this time on this infantry blob. Well, really? Oh, he aimed directly. He really must have a thing against T-34s. Once again, I believe those two pay-free bombs are probably more expensive. Oh, a little bit of a furball here. Canadian F-18 coming in for the intercept. He does get the kill. Very nice. Those riflemen probably don't want to be so much out in the open here. Especially with all those ATGMs flying about, it's a rather dangerous proposition. But Zipper's actually making a decent amount of progress over here into Delta. Is forcing, or with his models frankly, forcing his same on Abrams back. This seems a bit more of a concentrated force, because as you can see right now, Orcale doesn't really have a whole lot in here. He has the two A1 Abrams, but yeah, a little bit out of position right now. We're going to be seeing another A-10 strike, hopefully on something a little bit more worthwhile. I do like his screening with the electric Voodoo. Even the F-18 Hornet. And going after the T-80Bs, I imagine. A great target. It's one. Kills one. Kills the second. Even got a little bit of that brr going on there. Very effective strike. Zipper's really gonna need some anti-air. I believe he... Oh, he had a Tunguska. Just didn't have line of sight, I believe, which is a bit of a shame. I believe he had a book earlier, but seems like the book probably bit the dust. Yeah, if those two T-80Bs down, that would have been a pretty effective tank force to actually try and maneuver through Delta and actually clear our protoss here. Just as long as those A1 Abrams stay down south. But he doesn't have enough to actually fully push up and get any effective kills, unfortunately. But the BMP-3 is coming in pretty clutch. here comes the A1 Abrams. And with no real, like, you know, proper good anti-tank here, you can't really do too much against him. Unless the Abrams do decide to be a bit silly and get right up close to the mortars directly. Which would not be a smart move. Be a rather stupid move. Another A10 strike. Just to kill the BMP-3. But heck, with its airspace being uncontested, why not? And really not much has really developed in the northern side. I mean, Zipper has the T-80B, which is nice, but can't do too much with it. Being a rifleman push here. Might actually be enough to get into that little village. There's not a whole lot of fire support around to actually suppress down the rifleman. And he does have the A1 Abrams to back him up. But still, we're 20 minutes into this match and the points are, like, extremely low. Like, I'm still hoping we see some big super heavy tank battle go down. Most of the tanks have been blown up from airplanes. This Orcale is playing more of like an Air Force deck, really, and an Armoured deck at this point. Yeah, just getting some really good snipes with the A10. I'm having a feeling that Tunguska just got seeded. I'm not seeing it anymore. But it's just a very good job with the anti-aircraft suppression from Orcale. Which, you know, he needs to do because he's playing very aerial heavy. He can afford to. He still has 2 A1 Abrams and there's not a whole lot of heavy armor here to really contest him at long range. I mean, Zipper keeps bringing up he's like... T-80A isn't super cheap, of course, but... You know, to really, you know, safely take an engagement, he really does need a super heavy tank of his own. Because as we know in Wargame, it's really just about bringing the most expensive tank into the fight. And not losing that super expensive tank either. Seeing a little bit of scouting down south here from Orcale with some rangers. Making some decent progress. We're going to see another A10 strike. He has... I'll say he has a lot of A10s, but he only has 2. He just hasn't been taking any damage on them, so the reload time has been pretty fast. Zipper definitely has the forces to make a push happen somewhere at least. Just try to get, you know, a little bit of echo so he can secure out. And really Orcale should also have that CV into Delta by now. He could be taking on that plus run pretty easily. Especially with how passive Zipper has been, he's not too much in a rush, I'd say, to actually get a whole heap of frontline units. We've got some Russian air power now, yo. 2 Su-27, oh, 8 and Su-27M, I should say. I don't know why I thought there was 2, maybe I'm seeing double. But anyway, you can get some eyes on an A1 Abrams. You could pretty easily snipe it down. Maybe it should be his answer, seeing how much Orcale has been investing in air power. Maybe he should do the same. It's been working pretty well for Orcale, and he's finally getting a CV under Delta, an M1 Abrams run it yet, so should be rather survivable. which is something you want, especially on a contested zone such as Delta. Oh, the CV and Echo did get sniped, Joe. This is going to give Zipper a nice little +1 for the time being. Shows like Zipper does. He has a really nasty. Well, not so much a super nasty force, but a pretty decent force to maybe try and push in. Especially if a BMP2 being brought in. But here we go, we got the A1 Abrams. Actually pushing up really close, and I mean Zipper's going to be maneuvering his TAT UK, it seems, to try and get the engagement. It isn't too risky against an A1. The TATU does have a pretty good chance of winning outright. Seeing constant artillery suppression onto Delta here. Getting some decent hits here and there. Oh, SU-27M does get a snipe on an Abrams. Does go down now, however. It's not an extremely rare for our trade points rise. But at least for the time being, there's only one A1 Abrams. If he can knock that out, he can pretty easily start moving through here and actually securing Delta. We still have a Leopard C2 Maxis, which is somewhat scary. But if it's rather light armor, I mean, it's not. It will go down pretty quickly to 1 or 2 ATGMs. And Zipper definitely has that ATGM force. A few BMP3s, the TATAs. I mean, he is still leading in terms of points, but he doesn't have that map control, really. He does have a little foothold on Echo now, at least, but I wouldn't really say this is a safe point to actually get a CV onto here. You'd at least want to try to get up to here with some units. Even just some reconnaissance to spot anything. Yeah, there we go. Finally, a super heavy tank here. A T-72BU and an Mi-24 VP. Some rather heavy firepower. You're seeing another A1 Abrams being brought down south into Echo here. We have 2 TATAs, which, yeah, at long range, if we get some good hits with those ATGMs, should be able to beat out the Abrams. We also have the Bradley backing them up. Any A10 Thunderbolt coming in just snipes the Tunguska. That's pretty much going to shut down that push. If it does get the Bradley at least with a good ATGM hit, maybe a Mi-24 VP can finish off the Abrams. Nope, just shooting a M113. Now Abrams just out in the open, just taking those ATGM shots like a champ. There's only so much firepower he can take before he goes kaboom, like that. And kaboom he went. Chaparral, good positioning. Should be able to snipe the VP. Or at least the VP got the tank kill. There we go. And now if it's super heavy, I mean, it's 10 minutes on the clock. I mean, maybe another squad of infantry or two, but I mean, Zipper definitely has the forces to push here now. And there's no real armor which can actually contest the T-72BU. Unless he's going to decide to move it down south into Echo, which wouldn't be a terrible idea either. We're seeing Orcale means it's using more of the cheaper mid-range tanks now. As Leopard C2 Maxis is. It's too great against armoured vehicles, but now it's a super heavy. Oh, I forgot there's an A10. Maybe A10 can just kill the BU. Nope. Nope. Shooting everything around it, however. Those A10s have just been absolutely deadly. Like, it's actually quite nice to see A10s being used so vigorously. I mean, it really should be something a bit more easy to shoot down with a decent anti-aircraft net, but Orcale seed game has been on point. A 10 on the T-72BU does get the kill. God damn. I'm just amazed with how effective the aircraft have been. I was really expecting more of a slug match here, but no, he really could have just played on airborne deck and probably had an even better time with the high veterancy aircraft. He's only really been using on the A1 Abrams, not even a single A2. But, I mean, the problem, however, Oracle's been trading efficiently and has map control. Kind of. I mean, he needs a CV into Echo. Well, he had map control for a pretty decent amount of time, but he hasn't really exploited it in terms of CVs. And there's only 6 minutes left on the clock, and he does have to catch up to 30 points. Which isn't extremely hard, but it's a little bit nail-bitey. It's not a position you'd really want to put yourself in. And he's getting a CV into Echo here. Thankfully, our Eltis is fast as heck. But even then, I mean, it could just get CV sniped. There we go. He's going to get that nice +1. Yeah, he doesn't even... Oh, he's going to get 2 CVs. Very smart move. I think he realised just how crucial it is for him to hold Echo. Even then, Zipper could just get a CV as his own into Echo. Heck, even just throwing a T-80U one on here wouldn't be a terrible idea. Though considering the previous track record of things getting sniped by aircraft down south, I don't think it would really survive to the end of the match. We've seen a bit of actually a light push up north here from Zipper, but a light push might just be enough. I mean, he pretty much broke through his defensive line here because there's not much left. Unfortunately, he doesn't have any fast mobile forces, so he's not going to be able to get to the enemy CV. Which is what he needs to kill. U-24 being brought in. Trying to get some siege strike, but I think those F-18 Hornets are almost going to have something to say about it. Doesn't get the kill, but the SU-24 is going to be, well, mission killed, because it's not going to be able to come out in these last 3 minutes or so. And Orcale is going to be able to catch up in terms of points here. SU-25T really going hardcore into Abrams. Another SU-25T strike. Just killing a mortar vehicle, yeah, not a whole lot to really write home about. Taking quite a bit of chaparral fire, enough to actually force him to fall back. I don't think that was probably a rise investment this late into the match. He does get that T-80 UK onto Echo at least. He has covered it in smoke. I mean, it's an obvious location, it will probably get Nighthawked. But I think it does have enough frontal or top armor to survive a Nighthawk strike. It's going to be very close in terms of points here. I thought if he just got that T-80 UK just a bit sooner, probably would have been able to win the match. Yeah, it seems like those A-10 Thunderbolts are going to live for the rest of the match. Which is just bizarre to see. We've seen one final crazy push here from Zipper. Just rushing the hind right over enemy anti-air. Which of course doesn't go out well. I mean, flying that close to the chaparral, they don't even really need to use any of their computer systems. It's just point and shoot. Yeah, Orcale is going to be taking a technical victory. I believe his rule counts as a draw in the actual screen here in a second. Oh no, it counts as a victory. And there we go, Orcale taking the win there with a rather, not super close, but 500 point advantage. But goddamn, that air power was absolutely insane. Was the last thing I was expecting coming into an Armoured match. But yeah, both sides did play out pretty defensively. Zipper definitely could have been pushing a bit more heavy through Delta. And Orcale probably could have got that CV under Delta a bit sooner rather than later. Because the Conquest points, especially with Oracle's map control during that match, he didn't need to win by such a, sliver of Conquest points. I mean, in the end of the day, he got the victory, so doesn't really matter, let's be honest here. But yeah, good match from both sides. And well, I'm gonna leave it off at that. This has been another Wargame bloody hell, Wargame Dragon cast. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And as usual, please just take it easy.